If you're a baseball coach, parent, or player, I honestly believe that watching this video will result in a dramatic performance improvement for you. Also, a dramatic improvement in your ability to enjoy baseball, and perhaps even a dramatic improvement in your enjoyment of your life overall. Where do I get my confidence for this? From these guys. Joe Maddon was manager of the Cubs when they won the World Series. Mike Scioscia has been involved in over 3,000 big league games as a player and a manager, and won a couple World Series. Marcel Lachman is a genius of the mental game, a pitching coach for the Angels. And Dr. Ken Ravizza has worked in the big leagues for 27 years, helping people compete, play consistently at or near their best. He's also worked with many college teams, UCLA, Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Long Beach, Texas, Vanderbilt. Pretty much any top team has either worked with him or somehow used this book, Heads Up Baseball. I'm Tom Hansen. I wrote Heads Up Baseball with Ken Ravizza back in 1993, 1994, and we're happy to announce that we've got Heads Up Baseball 2.0 available right here on this page. Now, let's look at you. If you're a coach, I'm pretty sure that you've seen players play with low confidence. A guy that has a great deal of ability doesn't play with confidence, and it hurts. Think of a particular guy right now. Who comes to mind? Excellent skills, low confidence, underperformed. Inconsistency. Ever have a team be good on Tuesday and bad on Friday? You lose to that game on Friday to a lesser team than you beat on Tuesday. That's frustrating. How about just the suffering of watching a player or your whole team just choke under pressure, get to the championship game and blow it? Or they just plain don't compete. One of the biggest complaints we hear right now from coaches is that the players just don't compete. They're focused on their showcases and individual skills, but they don't get out there and compete. And that costs you big time, both in satisfaction and wins and losses. Parents, what do you say? It's great. Well, the son plays well. Take him to the Dairy Queen. As this is my son and myself, a few years ago. He's 13 now, almost taller than me, ready to put me in a headlock. But all those rides home where he plays well or doesn't play well, what do you say? What do you talk about? And you as a parent, it can just eat you inside to not know. You just want to help the guy, but you don't know how. How about as a player? When you just are playing below your ability, you're either somewhat choking, but it's just, you rake in the batting cage, you rake in practice, and then you get into a game, and you just don't get it done. You just don't do it. You don't play free. Mike Scioscia talks about wanting players to play free, and you play all tight in a knot. And ultimately, there is that fear for you, player, of not giving yourself your best shot at your dream. You might not be able to make the dream come true. You may or may not have the talent, but to walk away and feel like, oh man, I could have been so much better. I just didn't get it done. Well, if any of that resonates with you, I really want you to invest in this manual right here, Heads Up Baseball 2.0, 5 skills for competing one pitch at a time. It lays out the steps, step-by-step process for here's how to address all those things, how to play with confidence, how to be composed under pressure, and how to be consistent. How do the very top people do it? So let's take a quick look inside some of the pages, inside the book here, at some of the pages to see what we're talking about. We have Joe Maddon talking about do simple better. You've got to have a way that you can become a great competitor. He lays it out here. The big one being, I love simple. I preach do simple better. I love Ken and Tom's term simplexity to describe how the game can oscillate for players from seeming simple to complex. Doesn't it seem simple sometimes, hard other times? What do you do? Because it isn't just about mechanics. We can see the mechanic. I'll keep your hands here, your hips here, but that's really not what it's it. Being a great competitor, as Maddon talks about here, is really what's needed to put you over the top to make that big difference. And in his introduction, Mike Scioscia says the best players develop a system that becomes your focus. Because the pressure robs you of your talent. The pressure your talent evaporates. The best players, he's saying, have a system. Here's how I play the game. Think of a great player that you know, and don't you think it seems like, well, that guy has an approach, a system for how he goes about it. He's consistent at a high level. How does he do that? Scioscia's telling you right here, he's got a system, he's got an approach for how he does it. And here on page 5, we hear John Lester saying, hey, in a season I have 30 starts. 5 times I'm going to have my A game. 5 times. The other 25 times, I'm going to not have something. I'm going to feel a little bit off. My ability to succeed and have a great season depends on my ability to compete when I don't feel great. And that's what Heads Up Baseball is about. Yes, it'll help you be in the zone more, but you're almost never in the zone. It almost takes it off the table because he's saying here, hey, 5 times I'm lights out. No problem. But 25 out of 30, I'm bobbing and weaving. I'm compensating and adjusting. And that's what is lacking in most programs for how do you do that? Is it just a matter of your grip or your arm slot? No, it's what's going on for you mentally and emotionally. And similarly, we talked to Albert Pujols about having his A game and what do you need to do. When you don't have your A game, he says, you don't need to train harder, you have to train smarter. Heads Up Baseball is a book about how to train smart. Most players ride the results roller coaster, this emotional roller coaster. It's, hey, I got a hit, I'm the man, yeah. Oh, I got out, I'm horrible. Hey, we won, I'm great. Oh, I lost, we're horrible. And that's not a recipe for, is a recipe for inconsistency. That's a recipe for low confidence. That's a recipe for falling short of your dream. Too often, as we see here, also and still in just chapter 1 of the book, the skills practiced don't really overlap with what you need to do to compete. So you work on something in the cage, but then come game time, it disappears. What's up with that? In Heads Up Baseball, we collapse these two so that the skills you're practicing are very, very similar to what you need to do to compete so that your ability doesn't evaporate on game time and when the pressure's on. You're actually at your best because that's how you've practiced. Heads Up Baseball, the comment we get for decades now is, wow, this isn't a mental game book. It's a manual for how to compete. And it teaches what actually needs to be taught in order to be consistent, in order to be confident under pressure, in order to avoid that pain, avoid the pain of just knowing that I could have done so much better. And how do you avoid that pain? You develop the skills that we're talking about. Is this a get great quick scheme? No, this is skills, and skills are like mental, emotional skills are just like physical skills. You get better with practice. Is this going to guarantee victory? No. Is it going to guarantee your success even? No. But can it give you your best shot at success? Yes. Can it help you control the things that you can actually control, which is really just yourself? Yes. How do we do it? Here is the basic model right here. You've got these this pyramid of ramp C. Here's the 5 skills that we talk about. You got to take responsibility, which is about choosing your thoughts and focus and attitude rather than just letting the game dictate to you. Awareness, knowing yourself, knowing what's going on right now, having a mission both for your career and right down to this pitch. Learning to prepare. We share stories, for example, Hank Aaron, one of the most consistent hitters in the history of baseball. How'd you do that? We share that here in the preparation chapter. And ultimately, it's about competing. We have simple models, simple ways of thinking that enable you to give yourself your best chance at success. So obviously, I'm quite passionate about it. This book, it's really a manual that comes at you from the very top, the very best. Ken Ravizza, very best. Joe Madden, very best. Mike Scioscia, very best. This, and right on through, as you can see, we just interviewed all these people that play in the big leagues. How do you do it? And then we pull it into models and systems and simple ways to put it that enable you to have your best chance at playing for success. I honestly believe that at some point, sooner or later, you will own this book. And I think you will love this book. We hear it all the time with the first book, and now we're hearing it now that this second book is out. And let me add this. If you don't love it, when you get this book, you just click below, you get this book, Mary Ellen will ship it out to you the same day you order it. If you aren't thrilled with your investment, then just let us know, and we'll shoot you a refund right away. You really can even keep the book. So we just believe in it so much. You're going to get this book and devour it. It can be. You could just flip through and look at the quotes, or you can just flip through and look at the pictures and the diagrams. If you think, well, I can't read a book like that. Well, it's really designed to be easily read. We didn't want to make it, we didn't want to leave a bunch of stuff out. We didn't want to make it too simple because it isn't just simple. Sometimes it can feel simple, but sometimes then it gets really complex. And so we want you to be able to deal with the realities. That's a lot of what is the realities of playing baseball. Go out and have fun. Yes. Hey, see the ball, hit the ball. Yes, that's great. And when it is that simple, go with it. But how often is it really that simple? Well, for John Lester, 5 times out of 30, it's like that. What do you do the other 25 times? You let Heads Up Baseball help you develop your own way to compete. It's not about, oh, do what John Lester does, do what Pujols does, do what Tulowitzki does, do all these people that are in the book, but learn from them. Tons of stuff with Mike Trout, one of the most extraordinary players really in the history of the game. How are they thinking? We pick their brains, present it to you so that you can learn to compete for yourself. Whether you're a coach, parent, or of course a player, you got to develop your own system for playing heads-up baseball, for playing one pitch at a time. So if you're a coach, by the way, looking to get a bunch of them, click the link, and there's different options for getting a lot of copies of the book. If something doesn't work for you, in the upper right-hand corner on the order page, there's customer service, so just contact us there. So again, I honestly believe that making a move here, making this decision, getting Heads Up Baseball will upgrade performance, enjoyment, and actually overall life. In fact, the final chapter is Heads Up Life, where we're applying the mental skills here that we're helping you play better baseball to helping you enjoy your life more fully. And so from a parent standpoint, from a coach standpoint, for a player, you might not be as interested right now. You just want to do your thing. But as a coach, looking to be that coach that makes a difference in the whole life of a player, and a parent looking to have your son have the most fulfilling and happy life, because I want him to succeed in baseball, but I really want him to have a great life. And these are the skills that apply not only on the baseball field, but in the rest of life as well, to really create give your son a chance to create the life that he would love to have and that you would love to have for him. So get Heads Up Baseball. If you don't like it, let us know and we'll refund your money. And I bet, though, that you will absolutely love it. And you'll look back and say, you know what, I'm glad that Hanson guy was right. I am glad I watched that video.